Hey guys, welcome back to Confessions with Cassidy. I, of course, am Cassidy, and this video is something I think a lot of us have struggled with or possibly will struggle with later on in life, and that is how to handle a long-distance relationship. Now, before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe, press that bell if you're feeling extra lovely, and let's get right into it. Long-distance relationships, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, they are hard work. But if you're willing to put the work into them, they're actually quite easy. That sounds like opposing point of views, but I've put together 4 points to kind of clarify that, how to make doing a long distance relationship work just a little bit easier. So a little backstory on my experience with long distance. My fiance and I were actually doing long distance for quite a long time. Never longer than a year, thank goodness, but I think our longest was like 7 months apart, and it was painful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was not easy. It is a really tough thing, but working on ships and him being German and me being Canadian, we had to find a way to make it work. And that gets us to our first point, which is communication. I cannot think about the people who did long distance relationship before the internet. I mean, FaceTime, WhatsApp, texting, calls, like the amount of sanity that can bring you of even just finding 30 minutes a day to see the person and to really talk to them is a lifesaver. Philip and I are doing long distance at the moment right now, which is so sad, and it makes me, I'm smiling. It's a defense mechanism. This was a decision that, we made together, and we're both happy that I'm here. I get to perform again. I get to do what I love, and it was worth a bit of sacrifice in order for me to be here. But every night before bed, we make sure to FaceTime for at least 30 minutes, sometimes to an hour. We play Words with Friends throughout the day, a bit of Scrabble, it just makes you feel connected. With him working and me working, we don't get to text all the time. We do our best to stay in contact throughout the day, but at least we always know that we get to go to bed with seeing each other's face, and it's a lifesaver. So I definitely recommend creating a schedule that you just stick to. And it's okay if some nights it doesn't work out, if you're going out with some friends or if you're busy with work, that's totally okay. But at least 6 days out of 7, you get to say goodnight and see them on the other end of the video call. Now, communication isn't only just with FaceTime and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. I think communication is also so important about telling you how you're feeling. If I'm having a bad day about being away from Philip and my dog, I won't pretend that I'm not. I'm very verbal and make him aware of how I'm feeling, and also vice versa when he's not doing well, because otherwise you can try and protect the person that you care about from the sadness, because maybe they're having a great day, but I think it's so important in a relationship to just be completely honest, and that comes with, also not the nice butterfly moments of how you're feeling when in a long distance relationship. Speaking of honesty, that comes to be my second point. Honesty and trust. These are two of the most important things when it comes to doing a long distance relationship. I think we hear horror stories about cheating the minute somebody's away, especially working on ships and cruise life. There's horror stories, I'll just say that. And when you're doing a long distance relationship, it's just so important that before doing the distance, there's a baseline trust level that makes everything so much easier. I know that I never have to worry about Philip, and I know that he never has to worry about me. Literally the last thing on my mind is to be thinking about somebody else other than my fiance. And, I think that makes our lives a million times easier. The other day I got to the ship, it was my first day. This is ridiculous. I saw an old friend and he was like, "Oh, this guy likes you." We were at the crew bar. And I was like, "Oh, that's nice. I'm engaged." And then he said, "Well, how engaged are you?" And I was like, fuck. I'm very engaged, and you can tell your friend thank you, but no. And he was kind of shocked. "Oh yeah, but you're away." I'm like, so I go away and just disrespect my partner? I was literally dumbfounded by the audacity of this man. But it didn't actually really touch me, because I know that my man can trust me and I can trust him. And so I think when you do a long distance relationship, it's about having those conversations and setting the expectations of the other person, and just knowing that honesty and trust are two of the utmost essential things when being long distance. Now, my third point is why I'm smiling, and that is to always choose a positive outlook. I've mentioned about affirmations in a previous video, which you can check out, but every single day, Philip and I choose something, and it's always positive. It's always, I'm choosing gratitude, or I'm choosing to take care of me today, or I'm choosing to challenge myself, or I'm choosing to learn something new. And with doing that, we kind of start our day off already in a positive light. So instead of waking up and being like, I miss you, this sucks, I hate being away from you, and starting off on a negative leg, we always try and start positive. For sure, we miss each other. We tell each other we miss each other all the time, because that's normal. We're not together, and we won't be together for another 55 days. But I always say it's easier to swim down than to tread water. And with being away from your significant other, it is so hard to remain positive and to see the good, because you just want to be with them and you want to see the good with them. But I think it's making that logical decision of being like, okay, I can't be with them, so how am I going to make my time away from them better? And that's maybe doing a lot of self-growth. Like I'm choosing to take this long distance time to really work on me and reach some of the goals that I've set out for myself, so that when I go home, I know that I've accomplished so much for myself, and that makes me feel whole. So I'm choosing myself for this time. I think it's really beautiful, and it's really helping me with being away from Philip and Louis. And my fourth point is planning. This is a lifesaver. On the worst days, I always say to Philip, what are we doing the week I get home? And we will plan the entire week. And when I get home, we really do it. We are going to Georgia to see my family finally, and probably 3 times a week, Philip and I are looking at menus at restaurants around the city in Georgia, and we're looking at the Christmas markets in Berlin, and we're looking at new clothing lines that are coming out for the winter season that we're going to go shopping when I get back. And it's just so fun. It's these little tiny moments of purity and clarity, and it's just, it keeps you sane, honestly. Like, to just plan a holiday, or to plan a staycation, even planning what should I get from the grocery store the day that you come home from the ship or from wherever you are. It's just a really great way to stay grounded and to kind of feel like you're still together, because who doesn't love looking at a menu at a gorgeous restaurant in Georgia? At the end of the day, long distance is not easy, but it is possible, and when you find somebody that you love, it is so worth it, because I promise you there is no better feeling than running off that airplane and jumping into their arms after months away. I hope you all do good in any long distance that you're doing, and that you remember why you're doing this, because it will all be worth it in the end when you can finally just be together. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week. I do these advice videos once a week, and I really enjoy making them. So make sure to like and subscribe, and hit that little bell, and comment below if you are doing long distance. I'd love to talk about it and help in any way that I can with my positive approach. Until next week, see you guys. Mwah.